no gold is not enough.
YouTube channel, Keep It Tech. So this is my first video on YouTube. I created this platform for discussion and give you reviews on software testing tools, different kind of technologies, certifications, etc. There are so lots and lots of things. So here we are not going to talk about only automation testing. This platform I have created to discuss about manual testing as well as performance or security testing also. So here we are just trying to discuss about upcoming new technologies in software testing world, the new tools which we can use in our projects, and there are so many certifications available out there. So we are going to discuss about the certifications, their costs, their credibility, and we will go also to discuss about the study materials and etc. in many other upcoming videos. So I created this platform only for basically the discussion and the reactions and reviews, so we can get updated on the software testing world, that what is going in the market right now. So let's go talk about the today's session. So today's session I have created for API testing. So today we are going to talk about API. What is the API testing? So I call API testing as a dawn of a new era. Why I call it as a dawn of a new era? Because API testing is emerging from last couple of years, since from 2000 late in 2015 and early 2016, it's come into the market quite highly recommendable and in demand. So today we are going to review, discuss, and give us our reaction on API testing. So today we are going to talk about what is API, because talking about the API testing, we first should know about what is the API, on which layer of the system does it exist. Then we will go to talk about why it is critical for business. Is it really needed for business, or is it just a hype? Later we will talk about at what time we need to test an API, and in the later stage, at the end of this discussion, we will going to talk about how we can test an API. So this video is not about a tutorial. Basically, this is only about, as I told you previously, this is all about discussion and reaction and review on the testing approaches, tools, and technologies. So let's get started with what is an API. So, so the concept of API, what is API? API is nothing but we can say a thread between different system and different layers of an application. As you know, our basic application is created on three layers: data layer, service layer, and a presentation layer. So data layers consist of all the data which are consisting in the database. Service layer, which is called an API layer, and the third layer is called presentation layer, which is also known as UI layer. The end user which sees all the things of an application is called presentation layer. So the basic thing is that this is the backbone of a system, because it gets all the data from the data layer and presenting onto the presentation layer. So it has methods, functions of applications which just gather the data, and it shows on the UI part. So this is very very important. The second layer, which is a called service layer, when we test it, which is called as API testing. So why we should test an API? Is it really critical to business? Yeah. So let's go and we can see why it is critical to business and how it is critical to business. So let's say right now the API is very very critical to the software testing world, because what happens right now, we are creating different kind of applications which interact with the outside world or the third party applications. So for that we are creating APIs, and our APIs got consumed via various digital platforms. For example, we have Google Maps APIs which we saw in our market. So there are so many applications which use Google Apps in their software or in their applications. So what they did, they just used APIs of Google Map applications. So, and also we created APIs so we can expose our system to the end user on UI layer, which is called the presentation layer. So now if we test our APIs properly, then we can identify bugs very early, which generously create save our cost for the business. And it also gives us an upfront idea for the performance, efficiency, and quality of our system. And it will also help to expose our APIs to the third party so they can easily adopt our API. So it's very, very critical to the business right now because the product is not limited to itself. It is also exposed to the third party or to different applications. So an API should be flexible, uh, robust, efficient with the correct quality. So now, yeah, it's very, very critical. Now let's see the future of API testing, which I am talking about how API testing is very, very growing in this world. So we can see there is a markets survey conducted over there, and which says that the market size is expected to grow from 384.3 million dollars, which was in 2016, to USD 1099.1 million by 2022. So aggregate is around 20% within 5 years. So you can see that how much it is critical right now in software testing world, creating APIs and testing them. So there are so many jobs, there are so many vacancies coming on the LinkedIn, Naukri, and most everywhere on the places which explicitly says that we require an API tester. So now you can, by understanding this survey, that how much critical is uh, API testing into the software world. So now see when to test an API. So right now I'm not saying that on which level it should be tested, like it should test it on regression part or integrator part. No, I have just separate out in four different levels, two levels for the functional part and two levels for the non-functional part. So the functional part, first one is the functional testing, when the initial stage of creating a API is going on, then we can test its functionality, we can test its validation, we can test the verifications. Like if we have an API which get all the data from the DB, so we should test it. Okay, now based on that particular input, now it is getting all the data correctly from the database. We can test the validation and verifications also. That okay, suppose we are fetching the detail about a student based on a roll number, so it should accept only numerical values. It should not accept alphabetical values. It all things depend on the nature of product and the requirements. So this is called a very basic testing on an API, which is pretty much required on the very first level at the time of developing of the API. There are many APIs who are developing in silos. They have no dependency on other for creating that one. So on small chunks we can test it. So here comes the next level, which is called an integration part. When all the API is created in their zones, or we can say in their modules, because right now the development is done on basis on very different modules, on small modules. When each and every module is completed, their all APIs got tested. Then when all the modules got integrated, then it is very, very required. It's very, very critical to test those APIs, because afterwards we can identify that those APIs are behaving properly or not. There might be chances in their own zone they were working fine, but now after integration, we require to change endpoints or some restrictions, some validations, some verifications, or might be a chance that there is a side effect of an API calling another API. So it's very, very important, very, very critical at the time of testing the integration part. So now let's move on to the two more separate levels. At the time when we receive that our system is stable, all the APIs behaviors are stable, everything is stable, now it needs to test on the basis of their performance, because performance is a very, very critical part. Now we can see that on the online scenarios, when the traffic is high, then suddenly applications got crashes because of their performance. So before going on production, before going on live, we should test their performance also, because it's a very, very critical how much load it can test, how much data it can fetch, because it's directly impact on the reliability of our system. So the performance testing can be performed on API. So it's another a very integral part of API testing. So the first and the last, not the least, is called the security testing. As you know, that security testing is very, very important, because it's give a final confidence in our system, and we can say that our API is pretty much secure. It is cannot be hacked. It is not violating any kind of standards which is defined by the boards of the security boards. And as we know that many times we need to expose our APIs, so we can say that yeah, it should be properly tested for the security purpose also. So this is different levels where we can test our APIs. It's an ongoing process. It's not like that we can test it only in the end of the development or only in the middle of the development. It's an uh, incremental process to test it on various stages. So now this is the last part which I'm going to talk about, which is what kind of tools we can use for test and APIs. Here we can test the APIs manually using ARC, using uh, Postman. These tools we can use for the manual testing to test an API. There are many frameworks available. Rest Assured is a tool, is a very good tool to test an API. Karate framework, which is an upcoming, a new framework for testing API, which requires minimum knowledge of development. You should have a good knowledge about BDD. It's required, and we will talk about the BDD stuff again in the later videos. There's an open source tool which is called Apache JMeter for load testing, performance testing. Zap for security testing we can use. There are so lots and lots of stuff available on internet to test these kind of stuff. So this is all about the video. I know this is my first video. Sometimes my PPT got forwarded accidentally, so I'm really sorry about it. But just share your comments, give me your feedback in the comment section below, and please share, like, and subscribe my channel GigaTech. See you again next week. Thanks, friends.